The primary motivation for many of my software projects is the need to solve a problem that I face personally. And if you take anything away from this video, is that the best way to learn how to code or even be a better software developer is to build projects. And the best way to build projects is to optimize for solving problems that you face personally. This video is about how I used this strategy to build an app in college that ended up getting me a software engineer job offer at Twitch. In my freshman year of college, I would spend most of my time on campus. I'd go to campus in the morning and not leave until 8-9 p.m. I had this weird course schedule that was very spread out. I'll have my first class in the morning before 11 a.m. and my next class would not start until 6-7 p.m. And because I lived far away from campus, it wasn't practical for me to go home and then come back to campus later on in the day. So I'd wait around on campus and just spend my entire day on campus. Now, this meant that I had to do most of my homework and studying on campus. The problem I had with this was it was incredibly difficult to find an empty and quiet classroom on campus to do my homework. Of course, we had a library, but that was always crowded. So I needed a way to find an empty classroom on campus to focus. Finding empty classrooms was not an easy task. I'd circle around campus for minutes before finding one. I'd knock in one classroom or peep into one, and then there would be a class going on there. I'll go to another classroom, there's a class going on there. I'll go to another classroom, there's a class going on there. And even when I'd finally find one, it would only be for a few minutes because there might be another class starting there soon, and then I'd have to leave. So after a few weeks of dealing with this problem, I thought to myself, what if I can build an app that would allow me to see all of the empty classrooms on campus at a particular time? I knew some Java and I had been playing around with Android Studio, so I decided to build it. So how did I do it? Because monitoring a space like a classroom required some hardware component, it was going to be an expensive project. For instance, one approach would be to use motion detectors to monitor the classroom for movement, same as how automatic lights worked. But this was 2016. I was a broke college student. I had no money. I could not afford one motion detector, let alone dozens for all of the classrooms on campus. I choked up my own spit. I could not afford one motion detector, let alone dozens of motion detectors for all of the classrooms on campus. So if I was going to build this, it had to be a purely software solution. In the end, I came up with a solution. Every semester, the university publishes a course schedule, or a timetable as we call it, which tells you the classrooms that your courses are going to be held at a particular time. Essentially, this schedule tells you which classrooms are going to be occupied at a time. Now that I have access to the schedule of which classrooms are occupied, if I can reverse engineer the schedule, then I can have access to the classrooms that are not occupied, because the set of classrooms that are not occupied is equal to the universal set of all of the classrooms on campus minus the set of classrooms that are currently occupied. So all I needed to code this was the semester course schedule, and that's exactly what I did. I built the app in a couple of days and started using it. I showed it to a few of my friends and they loved it. And I even published it on the Google Play Store. About 9 people downloaded it from my school. And I also put ads on it, which generated like $5, but that was because I told my little nephews to keep clicking on the ads that would pop up, which of course Google noticed and blocked my AdSense account. So how does this connect to Twitch? Fast forward a few years, I just graduated from college and I was interviewing for a software engineer job at Twitch when my interviewer told me, hey, I looked at your website and I saw your empty classroom project. Can you tell me about it? When they said this, I was so surprised. Like, I didn't even know that interviewers looked at the personal websites of candidates that they were interviewing. So we spent the next 10 minutes talking about the apps. I told him about the technical challenges that I faced, and they were impressed that I saw a problem that I faced personally, came up with a solution for it, and solved it, which was exactly the kind of mindset that they were looking for in the candidate for that position. The project made a really great impression, and I ended up getting the job offer, which I declined because I got better offers. Although I rejected the offer, what was interesting to me was that when I was building my personal website, I thought about removing the empty classroom project from the list of projects because I thought to myself that it wasn't that grandiose. Like, there was no way interviewers are going to be interested in this little college project, especially when I had other projects like working with the NSF and like NASA suits and doing some research. But I'm glad that I left it on there because it ended up getting me my first big job offer in tech. And it also taught me a very valuable lesson that it's not only the complexity of the project that counts, but also the motivation for building it. Now, it took me days to build the app. Like, if I would compare the amount of time I took to build the app versus the time I would have spent looking around campus for empty classrooms, I'd notice that I spent a lot more time building the app than just walking around campus looking for empty classrooms. And it would have been much more time efficient to just keep looking for empty classrooms. There's actually a meme for this type of behavior which says that engineers would spend 2 hours automating something that would take them 2 minutes to do manually. But the benefits paid off in the long run. Plus, the great thing about these types of projects is that although it may not seem efficient when one person uses it, but as you scale to many people using it, it's going to be a lot more efficient. Personally, it saved me a few minutes in the day, but imagine hundreds and hundreds of students using it. That's a lot of time saved. If you're curious about what I did next with the app after that semester, I actually unpublished it from the Google Play Store. I had this big vision of making it like an app where you could discover events that's going on around campus and not just empty classrooms, but that didn't happen. Also, it was going to be hard to maintain because the class schedules change every semester and I didn't have the time to keep updating it. Plus, the next semester I had a really lenient schedule, much better classes that were not so spread out. And the app didn't really get that much traction beyond the 9 people who downloaded it from my school. Although in hindsight, thinking about it, I think they probably downloaded it just to check it out and not because they really needed it. However, I learned a lot of lessons while building this app. I learned about reverse engineering, I gained experience in how publishing an app to the Google Play Store works, and above all, I learned that it is your personal projects and not your education that would make you a better programmer and eventually get you your first job offer. And fun fact, I got rejected after a Twitch internship interview in junior year, but this little project got me my first full-time offer after I graduated. So you never know. So that's it for this video. I hope you got something from it. Keep building those projects, keep solving problems. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I'm giving away $20 to random people who follow me on Twitter from this channel. Congrats to this person for winning last week's giveaway. All you have to do is follow me on Twitter, link is in the description, and leave a comment on this video with your Twitter handle to get considered. That's it for now. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!